Before we begin today's video, I would just like to take a minute to talk about a crowdfunding campaign I actually feel very strongly about. This is in no way political, and this is in no way sponsored. I am taking this completely under my own volition because I believe in the project that much. It is the first graphic novel in what is hopefully to be an ongoing series called Flying Sparks from #1 best-selling Amazon.com author Jon Del Arroz with amazing looking artwork by Jon Malin, as you can see in this video. It is the story of what happened. It is a fun-filled adventure story about what happens when a superhero is dating her city's greatest supervillain. It promises to be a fun time for all ages, and I hope you will enjoy it, and that you'll follow the link in the video description and consider supporting it so that this project will get funded, because the only way we'll see this project through fruition is through the support of readers like you. Jon Del Arroz is a great guy who I talk to pretty much every day on Twitter, and he is putting a lot of passion into this, and as you can see, it looks great. So please, consider checking it out. And now, on with the video. Okay, why am I reviewing this? No, seriously, why am I reviewing this? It just turned up on my Kindle. I have no idea how this got there. It just turned up on my Kindle today. And, misery loves company, so I guess I'm gonna give it a shot and drag you guys down along with me. Here's the thing, in my experience, once you put the word love in any sort of title, 90% of writers tend to stop trying. Why? Because they know that the bosses signing the paychecks are counting on the word love alone to sell whatever it is they're writing. And they couldn't care less about the quality, or giving them time to properly edit it, or do whatever it takes to bring out any sort of quality storytelling. So it tends to be the lowest rung on the totem pole that gets the lowest man on the totem pole, or woman, who gets assigned to these types of projects, and they know it, and so they're doing it begrudgingly. The cover is okay. I mean, it looks better than pretty much than most of what I've seen out of Marvel in the past year. But back when I was a kid, this would have been considered average to just below average, so far as the art style goes. But Marvel has fallen just that far. I only really have one problem with it, and that is Mary Jane is holding on to the webbing and swinging here, which seems like a cool idea, except this isn't Spinneret, and it's been pretty well established that you have to have the spider strength and the agility in order to hold on to the webbing and swing on it without killing yourself. So it tends to go against the rules. Okay, so it opens up okay. You're probably wondering why the artwork of Spider-Man fighting Doc Ock is looking washed out, but hey, it's Spider-Man fighting Doc Ock. I don't think I've seen that in a while. It turns out it's washed out because Mary Jane is watching TV when Peter is trying to help her with homework. Okay. First of all, there are a couple problems with it. First of all, the thing is that the thing that made Stan Lee and the other writers start to prefer Mary Jane to Gwen Stacy back in the day and wanting to make that work was that she and Peter Parker were not the type of people who would normally hang out together. So so having that come up out of the blue because they were set up on a blind date, and then working from there was what made it interesting. Here, it's just a little too chummy. MJ is supposed to have a very abusive home life that she escapes from by being the best looking, most popular girl in school, and she puts on this facade, but there are depths to her character that she hides behind it. Here, it's just a little too safe, and I don't know. This feels more like Gwen Stacy. Then there's Peter's design. I have two problems with it. First of all, he has so much weight on his face, and I'm not saying that. And I understand. No, people can have weight on their faces, but it's that his face is drawn like he's in his 30s. Take it from somebody who used to work behind the cigarette counter at Walmart, and had to know how to look at people's faces. It's really not possible. Even if you're fatter, the way that the weight hangs on his face is something that really only starts happening when you get into your 30s. So it makes Peter look like some. So the artwork is making Peter look like some middle-aged creeper who's hanging out with like a 16-year-old girl in her apartment. Then there's his hair. I hate any design of Peter Parker that has his hair being too complex or standing up on end like this. Mainly because, and this goes for live action, animation, comics, anything. And I'll admit, this is a nitpick, but it's a nitpick that gets me every time. And here's the problem. I always wonder, how does he get his hair back like that when he puts the mask on? Because he always pulls off a mask and his hair is back to being, because you put the character back on model and the hair is back to being on model once he takes off the mask. And it's like, there's obviously tons of gel in it keeping it that shape, and it's like, when did he do that? I don't know. It's just, I do not like this design of Peter Parker. To me, he looks middle-aged. He looks like a middle-aged man hanging out with a 16-year-old girl. And I think this whole relationship dynamic is closer to what Peter and Gwen Stacy had than to what Peter and MJ had. So immediately, the very premise of the book, seeing like teenage love, turning Spider-Man into a teenage love story told from Mary Jane's point of view, sort of starts falling apart. So yeah, then there's typical high school drama, and such with, that girly looking guy, they have a Harry Osborn here who I thought was a girl. Before she called him Harry Osborn, I thought he was a girl. Honest. Handle my heart honestly. I thought this was a girl she was talking to. So, yeah. So, then she's meet with a friend at a... she's talking to her... And, yeah. So now I guess she's in a love triangle with Peter and Harry. And thankfully, the next person I thought was a girl is actually a girl, Liz Allen. Nothing really. But she's really into Spider-Man. It's that sort of. Here's the thing: is the other thing that made Mary Jane work so well, and why she was the one who ended up marrying Peter, was that every other love interest either wanted Peter or they wanted Spider-Man. No other one wanted them both, but here MJ seems only interested in Spider-Man. But hey, we do get a scene of him saving her from Electro, which... And now so now it's a freeway thing. Although now she's trying to help Peter track down. Now she's trying to help Peter with something. There you are, MJ. I was starting to think you got lost in You know, Peter, I never really appreciated the library until you showed me around. I didn't realize they had all this stuff. What are you doing? Oh yeah, well, I'm taking all these Daily Bugle articles about Spider-Man and mapping out where the sightings took place. Kind of surprised nobody else tried this. See, there's quite a big lump around Midtown. Same by the docks. And look at this. It almost looks like he's commuting from Queens, doesn't it? I guess it makes sense since I've only ever seen him in Queens. Wait, now you're doing this cause why? Cause I want to ask Spider-Man to go out with me. That's what? Okay, that seems Mary Jane. Okay. Sorry, that's just so preposterous. Yeah, Spider-Man going out with a hot redhead. Why? Also, he's Spider-Man. I always find it interesting that she just assumes that he's in her age bracket. This could turn out this could really blow up in her face if Spider-Man turned out to be some like old man Logan type in like his 60s. So then she gets mad at him for thinking the idea is bad. She chases him down and he's already webbed up the pilot. He's revving up guys, but of course he's ignoring her. And it's got that gyroscope thing. I'm trying to remember what that was called. I think it was in. I have the issue that it was in from the 70s. I have the issue from the 70s that it was in somewhere, and it was in one episode of the animated series, but I forget what those things were called. So that's a neat callback. But then he's fighting. I have no idea who he's fighting, but Spider-Man calls the costume ridiculous, and I have to agree. I have no idea who this is. Literally. I'm pretty good with Spider-Man stuff, but I have no idea who he's punching in the face here. It's ridiculous. And that's for having such a ridiculous... Spider-Man? MJ? You do remember me. So why have you been ignoring me? Huh? What? What do you mean, what? I've been chasing you all over the city for days. You have to have heard me calling after you. No, really? So, what do you need me to... What? So what do you want? Need me to beat someone up for you? Because I don't go around doing that. Right? Even though I was just punching a guy in the face. I want, what'd you say to going out sometimes? Mary Jane, I can't. Why not? Why can't you go out with me? Are you for real? There's a billion why nots. More importantly, the fact that I always be worried. Look, I'm flattered, but it's just not gonna happen. What doesn't he remember? Homer, I think Homer gave the best advice to Bart for getting out of this type of situation. There are 3 little words that can get you out of any problem with a woman, Bart. I am gay. So yeah, he turns her down, and she says that she's over her obsession with Spider-Man, but of course she's not. Instead, she wants Peter to audition for a play. Well, and there it ends with this annoying thing where that I hate, where it puts the title of the story at the end of a book. Okay. For what it is, this wasn't as painful as I thought it would be, but it's still kind of pointless tripe. The art is average. As I said, I really don't like the design on Peter, although I will say that it's better than a lot of what we see from Marvel these days, so I'm not going to complain too much. But there isn't really anything to recommend it. You know, this could have been a fun little one shot they did as like a flashback, like at the end of an issue of the Amazing Spider-Man. It could have been a fun little 5-page flashback, but it just feels kind of stretched. It feels kind of stretched at its length, and the fact that it's a complete series, yeah, and that it's mostly focused on soap opera stuff, just, it's not my cup of tea. But I'm not going to condemn it because, I'm going to condemn it too bad because, it could have been worse. So, I guess 5 out of 10. Yeah. Well, hope you enjoyed going down this little trip with me. And, well, I'll see you next time.